Welcome to the No Pressure, No Diamonds podcast, where entrepreneurs come to harness their struggles, doubt, fear, negativity, and setbacks. They place pressure on the blessing of adversity to become the strong, fearless, excited, passionate winner they were destined to be. A diamond.
Well, guess what? We back.
Hey.
Yeah, once again, my name is Alex Rose. I got my boy
Thomas Solano.
and this is a No Pressure, No Diamonds podcast. Man, what's good? How you doing?
Man, I'm great. We got a great guest.
We sure do,
man. I'm
man.
so excited for this. Honestly, this gentleman, we just happened to actually, I'm nosy by nature, and so we were at the park. We took the dogs out to the park, took the kids to play, and the gentleman to my left was, taking some photos of a hoodie.
Okay.
And what attracted me to the hoodie was the color. Like legit, it's like a beautiful burgundy. Like, I was just attracted to it, and then the wording on it, I could just see like the white letters and stuff. So again, me being nosy by nature, I walked over and kind of introduced myself, and we started chopping it up. And I was just immediately attracted to his energy, his willingness to engage me. He was obviously taking photos for marketing and stuff like that, so I interrupted his flow, but he never made me feel that way. And so I was like, yeah, man, as a business person, I just thought, like, it'd be a great conversation to have. And we've been talking while we were getting things set up, man, and I'm excited for the listeners to tap into this one, man. We got Mr. Kendrick Brown, co-founder of Future and Hope, faith-based clothing line. Has a great story, and yeah, man,
hey,
good to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here. And it's cool. When I went to work and I told the people the next day, like, yo, I met this dude at the park and he invited me to be on this podcast. Like, you're always meeting people, because I am, dude. I'm the first time we went to downtown LA, actually we were in Inglewood, and we were doing a pop-up down there with Angel City Market. And I met a dude at the bathroom, which is weird because dudes don't meet at the bathroom. But because the line was so long for the girls' bathroom, like, I came out and I was like, yo, like, I'm the last dude in here. Do you guys want to come in and use the restroom? And they're like, oh, yeah, you'll hold the door for us? Like, yeah. And so, like, I'm holding the door, and another dude's like, you're holding the door so the girls can go use the restroom? I was like, yeah, man, what's the big deal? He's like, that's really cool. Like, and we were just chopping it up. Right. And people were like, what are these dudes talking by the bathroom for? And all these girls are going in the men's bathroom. But hey, I'm glad you came over, man. It's been great chopping it up with you, and I look forward to the conversation we're about to have. Yeah,
Absolutely. Likewise. And dudes do meet at the bathroom for like 20 minutes and chop it up and talk business and things like that.
That just, happened to me yesterday.
Literally last night, yeah.
We was gone. I was like, where the hell? Well, I don't know. Maybe they weren't wondering where I was at, but I was definitely, I don't know. I could have been there for 30 minutes because you just meet somebody, man, you just having a good conversation, man. Now, we wasn't in progress of anything. You know what I'm saying? We weren't in progress in the bathroom. You know what I'm saying? We was at the sink. You know what I'm saying? But it was just one of those conversations, man, where you just connect with somebody, man, and your minds meet, man. It's like, and you just never know what that 1 degree of separation can bring you. You know what I'm saying? On the other side of it, just a hey, what's up? Eye contact. And that's been one of the biggest things for me, man. Is make eye contact.
Yes.
Say hello.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody looks at you, man. My dad's like, hey, if somebody's in my 3 feet range,
we're chopping it up.
Yeah, you're going to hear from me.
They're getting the high. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I got something great to offer. You know what I mean? So that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Kick it off, Thomas, man. Kick it off.
Well, Kendrick, why don't you just, like we were talking, why don't you tell the folks a little bit about your background? You're married and business with your wife.
Yeah, married. I got 3 kids, my beautiful kids. Shout out my wife. Melissa, my kids, Zahara, Aneska, and my boy, my young man, Kendrick Josiah. But it's all, I'm a father of 3, been married 1 time. I'm in it to win it, in it for life.
There it is.
And me and my wife, man, we've been through a lot. I was in the Air Force, so we met in Hawaii. When I joined the Air Force there, I got stationed to Tucson, Arizona. We stayed there for 10 years. I was on a specialized platform for the Air Force. So there's just no leaving that platform without getting out, really. Like, it's hard. It's hard to get into, hard to get out of. But I did 10 years in the Air Force. It was a great experience, a lot of traveling. But I was away from home a lot. It was a guaranteed, like, you're going to be gone every year for 2 to 6 months, which is tough on my family, tough on my wife, especially being deployed, being gone, and like, hey, we're Skyping, and I gotta abruptly leave, and you hear like a boom in the background, and she's freaking out, and I can't tell you what's going on.
Right.
So that was hard on the family. So I mean, at the 10-year mark, I made the decision to get out of the Air Force and choose something a little more stable for myself and my family. It's been about 3 years since I've been in, and at like the 2-year mark, I really just had an itch for entrepreneurship. I mean, we chopped it up about that a little bit, but just wanting to have the flexibility that I didn't have when I was in the Air Force. Like in the Air Force and in the military, and a lot of military, if there's any military people listening, there's some stuff you don't really have a say. Mm-hmm. There's some stuff that when they say get up and go, you wipe the crust out your eyes, you keep it moving, get going. And so because I didn't have those choices then, I'm doing my best to make those choices now, where I do have the choice to be home at night because I'm not working an overnight shift. So I choose to work day shift so I can be home at night, so I can tuck my kids in, because there were years where I couldn't do that. Right. So I'm trying to not only make up for that, but also build that stability for my kids, man. Because I mean, I come from a military family. Both my parents were in the Navy. My dad retired at like 23 years. And there were entire school years, because he's in the Navy, because they get on the boat and go, there were entire school years where he'd be gone. Like, he'd leave, I come back, I'm in a different grade. I didn't want that for my kids. Right. So part of me getting out of the Air Force was mostly that. And then once I'm out and I'm settled, I'm still working in like military contracting and aerospace. But now I want to give myself even more flexibility. And so it's been a year now that we started our brand, Future and Hope. And moving towards entrepreneurship full time. So that's the goal. If I can get there in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, I'm with it, so that I can have the flexibility that I didn't have. Those first 10 years of being married, being a father, I'd like to have that now. So that's the move for us, for me and my wife right now.
Ooh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm curious. So both your parents were in the military, mm-hmm. and your dad being gone for so long. I actually relate to that, because there was times, not my parents weren't in the military, but there were times my dad in the studio industry would be gone 6 to 9 months out of the year sometimes, and it's hard to understand. But I'm curious, you went to the military even after having that upbringing. Was it just something that you've always wanted to do? Was it something that you wanted to leverage, like free education? Like what pushed you there?
I wish it was that. But so getting out of high school, I didn't want to go to college. My parents made me go to college. Like for me, I was like, I did great in school because I had to, like 4.0, all that. I did it because that's what you were supposed to do. Like, you want an allowance, we allow you to live here, and in exchange for that, you do great with your school, you handle your business, you take care of things. So I didn't want to go to college. They made me go. I went kinda for like a semester. I didn't really go the second semester, and they're like, well, now you're just out here wasting our money. I was like, I tried to tell y'all. And so like I dropped out of college that first time and went straight to the workforce, man. And I just wanted to feel that out. So I did construction for a little bit. I did manufacturing. I did flooring. I worked at a like I said, I grew up in Hawaii, so I worked at a parasailing and jet skiing place. Like I did a lot of tourism stuff as well. So I worked indoors. I worked outdoors. I worked by myself. I worked in large groups of people. I worked as a leader and a manager. I worked as the employee, the worker bee. So I, over like that, I would say from the time that I was 17, 18 till the time that I was like 20, 21, when I met my wife, I had all this varied work experience, you know? So I kind of knew what I wanted out of work. And with that, I wanted to be able to work, but also be stable and take care of everything that I needed to do. And so I was like, well, I can do that in the military then. And then I can really figure it out. And I always tell people, like, the military is the opposite of a real job because they promise to keep you, which is the reverse. Like, in a real job, you've got to prove your worth every day. In the military, they're like, hey, come here for like 46 years, man. And as long as you don't kill anybody or mess anything up real bad, like, we'll keep you around. And so I tell people, like, you join the military.
Don't
and
kill
you can,
anybody unless we tell you to
Yeah.
kill them. Yeah.
yeah, like
Not
just
on our
go.
side.
Yeah, like so, just like join the military and you can figure it out. Like you get like 4 to 6 years to figure it out. And so, like what you're saying, like leveraging, like you can go to school. You can go to school while you're in. You can go to school once you get out because you have those benefits. You can do all kinds of stuff, and you have a job. You have healthcare, like everything that you need to like get settled in life. The military will give you for a price. And so, at that time, being young, just getting married, I was willing to pay that price. And so, I chose the military for security reasons.
Sure.
I would say is the bottom line. Having, not to worry about bills, not really having to worry about anything. They're going to make sure you have all of that as long as you manage it right. So I'd say I joined for that reason. So I did my initial 6 years. And at the 6-year mark, when I was getting ready to get out, they started changing the rules a little bit. And they're like, hey, like, you get this education benefit. So if you're familiar with, like, your GI Bill,
Sure.
With the 9/11 GI Bill, you can give some of your time or all of your time or whatever to your dependents, so your spouse, your kids, or whatever. So they had just changed that rule when I got to the 6-year mark. And my wife wanted to go to school to be a nurse. And I was like, well, why am I going to get out and incur student debt for her when I could just stay in for another 4 and they'll do it for you? Like they'll pay everything for you. And so we had the talk, we had the conversation.
There was some strategy there.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to set myself up because it would be dumb, right, to get out and then go right into debt. We hadn't been in debt like that at all. And now I'm going to get out. We're going to get these student loans so you can go to school. Or I could just eat 4 more years and they'll pay for it. We don't have none of that. And so we had the conversation, and that's the move that we made. So I stayed in for another 4 years, so for a total of 10. My wife did an accelerated nursing program through Grand Canyon University, and she knocked the thing out in like 22 months, a bachelor's.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, she was about
Right.
that.
She was going ham.
Yeah. So I feel like
Jeez.
that was our teamwork, right? Like, all right, well, I'll do 4 more years. And she did, like I said, she did her accelerated nursing program, knocked it out, and had started working before I even finished my 4 years. So with that avenue taken care of, not having that debt, we were able to like start saving up for a house for when we got out. Like we were able to make that move. So moving back to Cali from Arizona wasn't a big deal because we were able to like be strategic, leverage the education benefit from the military, have them pay for her school, not have any debt, and come to the table with some money, and then also be like, oh, the only debt, if you give us this house, this is the only debt we're going to have. And like, oh, bet, give it, yeah, easy. It was definitely just a blessing to be able to do all of that and be back in California and continue raising my family out here. So, yeah. But,
yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, and I was having a plan and working the plan. That's what happens when you have a plan and you work the plan. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Because most folks are just operating haphazardly or don't even know the benefits that they have. They don't know how to maximize it. So hearing that, I'm like, oh, man, he had it. He had it together, man, and figured that out. That was fire. But what I wanted to see, this is just as you were talking about moving back to California from Arizona. What was that process? You know, there's a lot of folks leaving California and going a lot of places, man. So what's what was probably one of the biggest reasons you wanted to move back to California?
I'm originally from San Diego, so I mean there was that. My in-laws, so my wife's parents, they were already here in LA at the time. My sister and them, they lived like in the Long Beach area. They live in Whittier now. So just being able to be closer to family was a lot of the reason. Whereas like we're in Arizona, everybody had to come out to us, or we had to make the drive to come over to everybody. If we move back to California, there's none of that. Like everybody's here. So I'm able to, and if I do want to go see like my brother and them, they live in Arizona. Like it's easier to just to navigate the family travel situation instead of like having a mass exodus from California come to Arizona for the holidays or whatever. So it was mostly that, and just like I miss being at the beach, bro. Like they said,
how much time did you spend in Hawaii?
So I lived there. We moved there when I was like 11. And we didn't leave till I joined. So, like, I lived there for like 10 years. So, like, I lived in San Diego for like 10 years. Lived in Hawaii for like 10 years.
These beautiful weather places.
Yeah. And then moved to and then the Air Force is like, hey, bro, you're going to Arizona. It's like, you're landlocked. You're in the desert. Like, wild. There's like crazy culture shock for me. And I was like, nah, I'm like, I'm gonna do what I need to do here, and I'm getting back to the beach as soon as possible. So mostly because I'm just a spoiled brat, like you said. All these beautiful weather places.
You know what you want, man.
Yeah,
You can't,
so-
you know.
So I wanted to go back, and my kids, like, they love the beach. My wife is originally from South Africa, and so, like, she says it's a lot like Miami, so she's like a beach person as well. So us being in Arizona, where it's like there's dirt over here, there's dirt over there, there's a mountain this way, like that was
Flat
not
that
yeah,
way.
like
Yeah.
so for us it's like nah, we got to get back to the tropical climate, get closer to family, and provide more opportunities for our kids. I mean, it just seems like there's a lot more going on here with the arts, with opportunity, stuff like that for the kids. So yeah, mostly moving back to Cali just to build a life, you know.
Absolutely, man. What'd you so inspiring your journey into into the entrepreneur journey, what made you decide clothing, right? Building a clothing, just not opera club, but building a clothing brand, man. What inspired that?
As a teenager, man, me and my boy, Samoan cat, Willie Fetu. Shout out, Willie, if you're watching, you're listening, bro. We, at a young age, man, we were like 14, 15, designing clothes. Like, the plan was for us to, like, leave Hawaii, go to FIDM, like move here to Cali, go to FIDM, do the whole nine. And we did not follow through on it. But we were always side hustling our own stuff. He is the artist. Like, this dude needs no practice, can draw whatever you want. Like, always. He's been like that the whole time I know him. Whereas me, I'm just the creative. Like, I know what I want, and even I'm like that with our brand now. I know what I want. I know how I want to put it together. I'm more of I guess, like a curator. Like, I want all these elements arranged this way. I just need somebody to put it together for me, because I can't really draw like that. So as a young dude, me and him were always designing clothes, designing outfits. We would custom bleach jeans for people. Like, we were always doing stuff. So it was an itch from like forever ago that I'd always been waiting to scratch, and now I'm in a position to. So that's why we chose the clothing route for the most part. Like, that's something that I've always been able to do, been good with, been seen success with independently. So I think putting together a brand with a message and doing that, I think that was the move that I wanted to make.
Absolutely.
So
man.
in building your brand with so I loved that you had talked about the different jobs that you had, because there was some skill development that happened, right? Those skills developed paired with everything you learned in the military, which I would assume is probably a lot of leadership driven type stuff. How have those skills overlapped into what you're currently doing with building your brand?
A lot of self-starting. I think that is probably the biggest thing from my upbringing, from all the jobs that I've had, from being in the military. All of those things rewarded, in my lifetime anyway, self-starting. Like, with my parents, if I could do chores without being told to do chores, cool, you're good. Go do whatever you want. As long as you're home before the street lights come on, you're good. Working at Best Buy, I worked at Best Buy for a little, like, the cashiers. I'm at the cashier register or whatever, chilling. There's not a lot going on. I'm working day shift at a store. Like, if you go stock without anybody telling you, hey, go stock the shelves, rewarded. Like, you're going to get promoted. You're going to get better hours. They're going to give you the pick of what you want because you're a self-starter. Yeah, initiative. Same thing with the military. Like, you're going to get promoted when people see you doing stuff without being asked. So, like, when it came to learning the job material or studying our tech data or being familiar with the regs or troubleshooting or whatever we're doing, like, we have downtime. And I mean, this is a top secret program. I'm in the vault reading up on everything that we need to know. You know, some people are chilling, some people are going out to eat, whatever. I'm locked in the safe room just reading, just like digesting information so that when we go out there and we see it as a problem, I don't need to look. I already know what's up. And so that allowed me to get a lot of leeway in my time in the Air Force, because I could get shift preference. So the things that I could get flexibility on, it was given to me because, hey, this dude's a hard worker. Why shouldn't I reward him? So I think in my entrepreneurship now, I'm able to reward myself with free time or getting what I want, or when it comes to like staying ahead of the seasons, right? Like, so it's fall now. Now it's not the time to be ordering hoodies. You should have done that already. It's too late, and you can't get hoodies. Like, if you're trying to get hoodies now, you probably won't get them till like December for the color that you want, for the quantity that you want. It's not going to happen. So being a self-starter, staying ahead of the seasons, especially when it comes to clothing, like that, you're rewarded because you have the merch now, you have the product now. There are other people who don't.
Supply.
Yeah. So there are people who are not. You're not dropping because you didn't think about it ahead of time. You don't have the ability to put a hoodie out in the middle of September because you weren't thinking about hoodies in April, May, June. And now you don't have access to hoodies. You don't have access to the colors that you want. So I think that self-starting, that initiative, all pays off in entrepreneurship.
Man,
that's huge, bro. And that's the first time that I've heard anybody say that on the program. Any of the entrepreneurs about being a self-starter.
Yeah, and break it down.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because that's every. To be real, bro. That's when that really indicates whether you win or lose.
Like 100%, dude.
Outside of just doing anything,
yeah.
I mean, just being a self-starter, man, and that's been, and I'll be just direct. That's been one of the things that I've had. Especially in starting in business, man, that's one of the things I've had a big issue with.
Yeah.
It's because it's easy to sit my ass on the freaking couch or sit down or click it, whatever, or figure out something easier for me to be doing.
Yeah.
But realizing, in order to be successful, in order to get to the next level, guess what? I got to either learn a new skill. I got to fill this time with activity.
Yeah.
To push this business or my life forward, man. And that's, you broke that down. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know what? While he was breaking that down too, I just had an appreciation for my wife. My wife.
Yeah.
And she's the stricter of the two of us.
Okay.
And so you said I was rewarded for doing my chores without being told to do my chores. Yeah. Dude, my wife has been on my kids, and by the way, and she's not she's not cracking the whip constantly. Like she's not that, right? Like, but that's one of the stipulations for their reward is like, hey, you got to do this stuff without me telling you. I didn't grow up like that. Like, I would only do stuff when I was told to do stuff. You know what I mean? My dad's like, hey, there's a lot of dog landmines out back. I need you to go pick it. All right, Pop. Yeah, I'll go do that or whatever the case may be. But that was never a conversation in my house, which was, I don't know. I'm not upset about the way I grew up, but I'm like, man, it kind of set me back a little bit. And my wife is setting the kids forward, especially when you just broke that down, like being a self-starter, taking that initiative. And I never looked at it that way. Sometimes I look at it like they're kids, just give them a little bit of grace. She's like, no, they need to learn and all of this stuff. So I love that. I wanted to dig a little bit deeper. You were talking about like taking the initiative, right? And reading while everybody else is enjoying their downtime or whatever. Obviously, there's the opportunity for promotions or whatever. So it sounded like you look at it as like the potential of separation or having the ability to get the raise or the promotion or whatever. But I'm curious, is there part of you also that just doesn't like to look dumb?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
I feel you on that. Not knowing the answer, but that's also part of my upbringing. Like, there's dishes in the sink. Why is that? Oh, you don't have an answer? Somebody better have an answer. Like that's part of that. And same thing in the military. My supervisor, right? He knows. Yeah, like why didn't you do it? Having an answer for that. And my supervisor,
for my eyes.
He's retired now, but at the time, Master Sergeant Rodriguez, he was the guy, man. And he pushed me really. I took it personally when I didn't have an answer for him. Like, he would come in the office and he'd be like, all right, so we have these parts. What are the serial numbers? Why aren't they on the plane yet? You guys are chilling right now. How come this stuff isn't getting done? And I would always take it personally. If somebody else didn't have the answer, I made sure that I would have the answer because I didn't want to let him down.
Right.
Because he invested so much leadership quality in me. Like I didn't want to let him down. I didn't want to be in a position like you're investing in me. I don't have the answers you need. I don't want you to get a trash return on your investment. And so with him, like whatever he needed, I would make sure that if nobody else had the answer, I'll give you all the chance to answer. But I know that if you don't have it, the backup is me. I know that I will have the answer.
Hey, the buck stops with you.
Yeah. Like it's like y'all might not have it. Yeah. Like y'all might not have it, but I'm going to make sure I have it. And that's going to save all of us. That's going to keep all of us in trouble. That's going to keep all of us from looking stupid. Because like the unit that I was a part of in the Air Force, we were like the black sheep of our squadron. So people were always looking for a reason to mess with us anyway, or to put us on extra duty, or to say, hey, K-Flight, shout out K-Flight, K-Flight's messing up. And so like I take that reputation personally.
Sure.
Like I don't want, because I mean we're in an age, right, where people are getting put into a bunch of boxes and groups and stuff. I don't want the group that I'm part of looking dumb. I don't want my group to be getting messed with because we don't have our stuff together. And and also being a Christian, like the Bible tells you to be without reproach. Like don't give people a reason to look at you in a wrong perspective. Don't give people a reason to look down on you. Don't give people a reason to say, hey, you're not on top of it. And like, so all of that combined, yeah, it's deep seated with me. Like I don't want to look dumb. I don't want to be inadequate. Like I'm going to therapy, right? So you're talking about all this kind of stuff, like being a parentified child, feeling inadequate when you aren't able to accomplish, being objectively oriented, not so much relatively oriented or relationally oriented. Like trying to make sense of all of that in the workspace.
Right.
So it's definitely like a deep seated, like get the task done, you're going to get a reward, like good boy. But also like trying to have balance and not look dumb, but don't overwork yourself too.
Right. Well, I think there's some self-fulfillment there, man, because obviously, right, at the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey, I kind of did the same thing. I read all the literature. I read all the brochures. I read all the product stuff for the clients and for agents and because I did not want to look stupid. The challenge I think some people have, and you probably know people that relate to this, is that they're also paralyzed by paralysis analysis. You're familiar with that term, right? So there's a fine line. Obviously, you've figured that out. But there's a fine line, you guys, of wanting to know everything and knowing that you're never going to know everything, right? And so you have to like move. And in the process of progression, you'll learn some stuff. Yeah. Right? Like some stuff will become apparent. So,
man, I was kind of just thinking about what he was saying about, and what it came down to was really just taking ownership of a situation, man. And he said, was Master Sergeant Rodriguez. You know what I'm saying? Rodriguez was like, you took it upon yourself. Like, look, if it's to be it's up to me, and look, I'm gonna make sure we are not gonna falter. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure I know the answer, or I'm gonna make sure that at least that I'll be prepared. And some folks may not want to step up and take that. That leadership role. Some folks may be a little fearful. Mm-hmm. Some folks may be like, you know what? You know what I'm saying? He can't get us all. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I mean? So, but it's just one of those things, man. And taking ownership, man. If you're gonna be an entrepreneur, man, that's why it's not built for everybody. Yeah. It's not built for everybody. Because guess what? The buck stops with you.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart.
It isn't. Sure. The buck stops with you, man. And if you're willing, but if you want the rewards, you know what I'm saying? It's worth it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's probably going to be some of your darkest days mentally. You know what I'm saying? Could be some of your biggest woes financially. You know what I mean? Everybody's not gonna believe you. People are gonna be like, "What are you doing?" You know, folks aren't gonna agree.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You are on a road less traveled.
Yep.
Why? You know what I'm saying? Because you want this out of life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, everybody would have that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But is it hard? Yes. You know.
But it should be, man.
But it should be, yeah,
anything that's
absolutely.
worth it is hard, right?
Yeah.
Ask any woman who's had a child.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. It's
Not easy,
but it's just
but all that pain goes away when you see that baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. When
Yeah.
you see the fruit of everything that you've done, you look back at the pain like, I could do that again.
Bring it
I'd be
on.
willing
Yeah.
to do it
Yeah.
again too, right? Yeah.
For sure.
I might be able to bring it on. Shoot, bring it on harder, man. We ready. You know what I'm saying? Because now you know what you're like, man, you know what? It was bad, but I came out the other side of this thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just one of those things, man, where, taking ownership, in everything, man, taking ownership, man, like, hey, I got this. That's a lot of stuff we talk with a lot of our associates and stuff like that too. It's like, look, man, this is yours.
Right.
Treat it like it's yours, man. If you you know what I'm saying? Like, it's tough to find great employees a lot of times because a lot of times it ain't there. So they like, I'm just here. You know what I'm saying?
I just work here.
But
Well, people will do just enough to not get fired, right? But how does that saying go? You know what I'm talking about?
people get paid just enough not to quit, and they do just enough not to get fired.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why finding great employees and stuff like that is one of the toughest. Finding talent is one of the toughest things
For sure.
you know. But one of the main things is realizing what you want, man, and finding people that take ownership. When somebody takes ownership pretty immediately, kind of doing the things that Coach was talking about, Kendrick, man, I was like, when you see people doing that, you have a leader. So any entrepreneur is like
so
that.
attractive too.
Oh my gosh, just realize who you got.
Yeah.
And notice those things in people, because sometimes entrepreneurship, you be maybe so busy working on the business or working the business, some of those finer details you may not always realize it, man. But shoot, I don't know.
What would you say some of the lessons you've learned? Welcome to the No Pressure, No Diamonds podcast, where entrepreneurs come to harness their struggles, doubt, fear, negativity, and setbacks. They place pressure on the blessing of adversity to become the strong, fearless, excited, passionate winner they were destined to be. A diamond.
Staying ahead of whatever the season is. I think continuing on the self-starting, just keeping that same energy. So when it comes to your bookkeeping, staying ahead. When it comes to, like I said, this is a clothing business. So when it comes to what you want to put out, reaching out early. For me, as somebody who's collaborating with artists, they have their own work schedules. They have their own timelines. And I cannot pull up and say, hey, like, do you have the time to throw this together for me in a week? Or same thing with like the screen printers. I go to Big Fly Graphics, if you guys know where they're at. They're right there by Walmart, off of Golden Valley.
Shout out Big Fly.
Yeah, Big Fly, what's up? But I can't just pull up on them with like, hey, I've got 60 hoodies and I need them at the end of the week. Oh, they have their own work log. They have their own timeline. So
To respect.
out of respect for them, out of respect for their time, and understanding that I'm not their only customer.
Right.
And respecting other people's work process. So like with artists, like just giving everybody the time. I understand it's urgent to me and it's urgent to you as well, but people have other stuff on their plate. I think that might be the biggest thing that I've learned is my patience and how what I want to get done fits into what everybody else is trying to get done. Because everybody else is trying to build their brand. Everybody else is trying to build and honor their clientele. Everybody else is trying to keep a good work-home life balance.
Sure.
And I don't want to be the person that infringes on any of that.
Interesting, man.
Yeah.
That's interesting because, what's that saying? Be impatient with your activity, but be patient with your results.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that this can get done in a timely manner. But I can't. There's certain things we just can't control.
Right.
But of the things we can control, like what do you say? Be ahead of the season, right?
Yeah.
Man, that's you can apply that to so many things just in life, man. Being ahead of the season.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Life principle.
Oh man.
Man, so with working with Big Fly, like I'm doing my best to order my hoodies early so that if there's a delay, I still get them in the time that I want to. And that buffer, I can, so I have a buffer there. And then me getting it down to them and finding out what their work schedule is. Like if I can get all of this done early and be sitting on merchandise, waiting to have the marketing, the pictures, the emails, all that stuff, like it's all in my possession early, and I can take my time to get it out there to y'all and to put the content for the rollout the way that I want to, as opposed to, all right, well, the hoodies are going to be here Friday. I want to drop on Saturdays, which means I'm staying up all night Friday to take pictures and do all this, and that, and sending emails and putting music behind videos. Like, or you could just work ahead of the season and give yourself that time, which, I mean, I do that with other things in my life. So Black Friday, I do all my Christmas shopping for my nieces, my nephews, my sister and them, my fam, all that. I do all of that Black Friday, and I give myself a month to wrap it and send it out.
Yeah.
And taking that same principle,
November
exactly.
Too.
Like I'm done shopping. I have a month to pack it, to ship it, whatever. And we can take that same concept and add it to our entrepreneurship.
Sure.
Like get yourself ahead, get everything in your hands early, so that way you can drop it when you want to. You can release it, and it's not a stressful situation for you.
I was just
You're
going to
not
say
overloading yourself, as opposed to like you sat on it here. You sat on it here, and then you have like a week and a half, 2 weeks of like crunch time.
That would take the fun out of it, I would imagine. You know what I mean? And maybe even your creativity, like you mentioned. Man, if I'm trying to get it out overnight, like you back yourself into a corner. It's chances are it's not going to be fun, and then passion drops and things like that.
Yeah, and you find yourself in a slump, and then it's like you've taken the fun out of it. You've made something like. It's a passion project that you get to do as a job. You've just made it work. You just made it regular work at that point. Like it's not fun for you no more. It's not a matter of flexing your creativity or exercising it. It's just now like I'm trying to hurry up and do this to get it out. Yeah. And I hope you guys like it. And I hope you guys buy it. And even when you do buy it, I got to do more work because now I gotta pack it. I gotta lint roll. Because even our fulfillment process, we're doing all of that at home. So like we have all like a house full of boxes, or a garage full of boxes, I should say, of everything that we're shipping out, and we go out and sort it and lint roll it, fold it up nicely, writing your note to you to say thank you, putting the little swag and all that stuff together. Like we're doing this all out of the house,
bro. Look, you ain't just talking about it. First of all, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having it.
Handwritten note. Right?
Yeah, right there.
Future and Hope. I don't even know if they can see. Can you see it?
It's on that camera right there.
Oh, it's on this one.
There we go. Yeah.
First of all, we appreciate that.
Yeah, but thank you guys.
Listen, this thing is immaculate. And so he's not just, this isn't fluff that he's throwing out there, man. He's legitimately practicing what he preaches. And that attention to detail is something that I didn't realize that I appreciate. Because when I have ordered stuff, it's so funny. It's lint. It's not a big deal. Like, you can remove it, right? You're going to wash it before you wear it, chances are, or whatever. But there is something that happens when you see stuff that's like out of place or doesn't belong. Like something happens. Even a string hanging. I'm like, bro, I just paid for this. You know what I mean?
It's all presentation, and it reflects on you. And I think that's why, like, for anybody who is interested in getting to starting your own little t-shirt empire, or doing hoodies or joggers or whatever, that's why I avoided drop shipping, because you have no QA. You have no quality control to, hey, like, I know I gave you all the designs. I know what shirt you're putting it on, but I'm never going to see it when you get it. Like, I don't get to check how it looks before you get it. But if I do it all myself, I know how it looks. I know how I sent it. So if you call me with a complaint, I get an email saying, hey, this is what happened. I know how I gave it to you. So something happened.
You can pinpoint, right?
Like I know where the bottlenecks are. for what happened to that, whether it got destroyed in shipping or something like that. And God willing, like we haven't had any issues like that. But I would know. It wouldn't be like, hey, they sent it to you like that. Sorry.
Right.
I'll tell them to send you another one, because you're not mitigating that risk at all. You're making yourself susceptible for it to happen again.
Right.
Inspect what you expect.
Yeah. So I and that's why I don't mind being a small business, because I like having the ability to have myself or my wife send a handwritten note, pack all this stuff myself. I get to see how it looks as it goes out. Like, that's satisfying for me to know that, look, I put it together, quality. I packaged it. I know what you're gonna get. I like that feeling, and we've had people, reach back and say, like, I wasn't expecting a handwritten note, but I appreciate that you appreciate us.
We weren't. Yeah.
And it make you feel good, man.
100%.
It's just that those extra little things, man. It just gave me ideas. Looking at that, we was in LA, man. It was a city club.
Yeah, we had a mastermind yesterday.
Yeah, man, great mastermind. Y'all stay tuned for that, by the way. But we was down there, and in one of the rooms, they have everything already laid out. Yeah. Everything they have different meeting rooms and things like that already laid out, already set up for whoever wants to use it.
Yeah.
And on each setting, there's a placemat, there's a notepad and a pen and a cup, or everything was already set up.
Water glass.
Water glass. And every pin was placed the same direction.
Like
at
same angle.
Same angle.
Wow.
Already clicked open, ready to use on every single place. I had to be like 18 places at the table. Everything looked the exact. I was like, the first thing I noticed when I walked in the room was all the pins.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I'm weird, but that was the first thing I noticed. Is like, yo, all these pins are placed the same exact way.
You slightly OCD, bro, just like the person who set that setting up. They have to be.
But that's
meticulous.
But those little things, man. It made me think of they care about the little things, man. Yeah. So it makes you, as a customer, not worry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes you not worry. So you order it again, and you're not worried.
Yeah, you're not tripping. Like you are familiar with the level of quality that you're gonna get. And kind of speaking to what you were saying earlier, just consistency, like keeping that consistency, like where you're perpetually putting out good product, giving good customer service, like all of that is important.
Yep.
And I think that's how you maintain or generate repeat customers, with that consistency.
Absolutely. Maintain, generate, and get referrals.
Yeah.
Referral businesses.
It's the only way to do business, man. Like, honestly.
And what it made me think of is when it comes to growing, right? And building and kind of growing your brand, and kind of
like scaling.
Yeah. Okay.
Is when you are scaling and you are finding people to kind of fill that need, because you may need to, say you're the CEO, so maybe the CEO can't be packing.
Right.
But it's finding people that have that same level of care.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because your job as a CEO is to build the brand and make sure you're getting it out there to the masses while still maintaining the level of service of you open it up, making sure everything is in the package, everything, handwritten notes. You know what I'm saying? All that, man. So that's a
well, you got to create a culture when doing that, right? You're going to lead by example if that's in the horizon, but you got to create that culture. And you know what? I spent 15 years in the restaurant industry, man, and opened up restaurants nationally for big chains and trained their team and stuff like that. And one of the main points that I tried to get across to the service staff was, you have to understand that the only reason you have a job is because people are treated right. And the second you don't treat them right, you're taking money out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Whether you realize it or not. And it's so funny because employees will only do just enough, right, to not get fired,
man.
Right. And but dude, that realization has to happen, especially for business. So if that's the message you can get across, like, listen, the only reason I'm able to pay you is because of the quality that we put out, that I'm paying you to put out. Like, take some care, right? And it'll ultimately benefit. But it's such a hard thing, dude, and I don't understand what it is about. Maybe it's just a natural laziness of humans, you know what I mean? But it's that's a real thing, man. experience.
Yeah.
Making sure people understand that value your customer essentially is what it comes down to.
For sure. Man, that's cool that you did restaurant stuff. That's like one thing that I never got to do. I never got to do food service for whatever reason.
Oh, dude, I loved it, man. We were just talking about it. I love the freedom of time and stuff. It's actually why my wife and I decided to build a business as well. Was we wanted to be present parents. We wanted to have some, and it sounds crazy to say the word control, but I wanted control as much as I could, right? Yeah. Control of schedule, control of cash flow, et cetera, et cetera. But dude, I loved the hospitality, the food and beverage industry.
That's cool.
I loved the customer interaction. I loved making people happy. And it's I don't know, man. I wish that everybody would have that experience at some point.
Yeah, you know, I think cool. Everybody should at some time engage at the customer service level. Yeah. Because you're a customer, you're a consumer, and you got to see the other side of that. And I think that being on the customer service side of things makes you a better customer. You know how to treat people if, say, they don't get it right. You're not going to pop off and act wild because you've been in that position before. Right. You've been vulnerable. You've been susceptible to having people unhappy with what you're providing them. You know how it feels and don't want to make that person feel that way. So even if there is a discrepancy, the way that you're presenting it is going to come across differently because you've been in that position.
100%.
Yo.
You're not just going to sit there and wait for them to come back to the table with a frown on your face and wait for them to ask for what's wrong. You're going to politely say, look, like, hey, like, this isn't what I ordered, or I said no sour cream, whatever the case may be, as opposed to, like, pushing this stuff off the table and saying, that's not what I ordered. This is your second chance. Like,
you know, the humility that is created, man, it helps establish character, dude. There's a quote by Muhammad Ali, and I'm going to butcher it, but and you guys may be familiar with it, but he says, like, what is it? Like, he has a hard time, and I'm totally butchering it, but he doesn't want a relationship with somebody who doesn't treat the waiter properly.
Yeah.
Right? Because he knows that if he wasn't who he was, they would probably be treating him just the same. And so it's, man, it is. That humility really helps build character for sure. I appreciate you saying that.
Oh,
great point.
Yeah, man. Being in customer service, man. Yeah, man. Being in customer service, it definitely makes you a better customer. Especially, I haven't been on the food end either.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's I would say probably the ultimate. You know what I'm saying? Customer service, that's a very, very important important task, man, is taking care of somebody's food. That's a big level of trust,
serious about
man.
their food.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's a serious thing, man. People go buck wild about some of that stuff.
Oh, dude. Man.
I get it,
But finding that, that's interesting, man. And just treating people the way that they want to be treated, man, is a big deal. And having that level of decor, man. Yeah, I wanted to ask, when starting a clothing brand, what is, kind of a couple of the steps, like kind of 1, 2, 3. I'm sure there's way more than just 3 steps, but what are some of the steps that you had to take to get it off the ground? Because I'm sure there's people out there that want to start maybe a clothing brand and want to do that. But what are some of the steps that you had to take to get it going?
I think that people who start clothing brands that are successful and that will be successful with time care about the clothes that they're wearing now. Like, you're judging the clothes that you're buying. So, like, for me, for whatever reason, there's a certain kind of shirt that I do like. There's a shirt that I don't like. You know what you do and don't like about clothing. I hate tags. I'm never going to put out a shirt with a tag. It irritates me to no end. I hate having tags, like, or even, like, instead of having the tag here, some people put the tag down, like, on the inside of the shirt, like in the middle of the side seam. No, I'm never putting tags in. So I think that step 1 is know what you want to do. And you got to know what you want to do, whether it be hats, whether it be socks, whether it be shorts, hoodies, whatever. Know what you like about those products. The ones that you already bought from other people, whether it be from Nike, from Supreme, from whoever. What do you like about those and why? And know what you don't like and embrace those details. because like when it comes to, like I said, like the tag thing, or I hear a lot of women complain about pockets on their pants, like that women's pants don't have real pockets, like they're not functional. Like, so there's a whole side of branding and marketing and just embracing, like, hey, like somebody could be out here making pants for women that have real pockets, like pockets that work. Yeah,
pockets,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's not a real pocket, but somebody could take and corner that market. Like, look, y'all ladies want pockets, I got you. Somebody could be doing that. So know what you want to do. I would say know who you're making it for.
Pair with pockets.
Yeah, you know, like know what you want to do. Like know what kind of clothing you want to put out. Know who it's for, and be willing to expand. I'm not saying change who you are or change your branding, but I know like me and my wife have this clash with the brand sometimes because she is very like monochromatic in her dressing, like black and white all day. She's good with that. Me, I'm good to wear whatever color. I don't care. Like, especially coming up in like early 2000s hip hop, but Cameron started wearing pink and I was like, I'm on that. I didn't know if give me the pink. I'm not
you
tripping.
Rock pink, you thorough.
Exactly.
You thorough.
I was never hesitant about that. Like a lot of dudes, like, yeah, you saw, like, give me the all pink SD hat. Like there's a Padres hat with the pink Padres hat with the white. Give me it. And I was like the only person at the lids that bought it. I was like, you guys are tripping. Give me all the colors. Like, so when it comes to our brand, with the first colorway she'll suggest will always be black and white. But for me, I'm like, it's fall. Let's do something. Let's embrace these fall colors.
Rusted orange or something.
Yeah. So but then there's always the tension of, well, everybody, like black and white as a colorway is super classic. Like everybody will buy it. Mm-hmm. Even if I like the colorway, that doesn't mean y'all will like it and will buy it. So like I have a lot of stuff that's just one of one. Like I take it down to the printer, like, hey, this is what we're doing for everybody. Here's the one for me. Like, so like with the hoodies that you saw, like we did like the wine color, burgundy or whatever. That's for everybody. But me, I have like the gold, like how the leaves are turning outside. Yeah. I have like a gold one, like a goldish, mustardish, like fall. Because I don't know if everybody will like it, and I might wear it in a video or something later.
I would rock that,
And so like, and that's how I engage. So I'll wear it. Premiere it in a video later, and if I get enough comments about it, like, oh, you guys are feeling it, I will. I'll go ahead and drop that one then.
So before you invest all the money on something so you're doing market research.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so like I have a lot of stuff that's just one of ones, or I order a lot of samples because you got to find out. Excuse me. Like you know what you want, you know who it's for. Where can you get it like that? Because when it comes to t-shirts, and this is what I learned, especially starting out, like your cotton weight, the way that cotton is threaded, like all these extra details that I never thought about until I got into the business. Like the cut of the shirt, how thick of a neckline do you want? How thick of a hem do you want? Do you want ribbed, like for a sweatshirt? Do you want like how thick do you want the ribbing to be on the cuff of the hem? Like there's all these extra details that you never ever think about. You just buy the shirt because you like what's on it.
Right.
But you don't notice the details. Do you like a thick collar? Do you like thinner cuffs? Like all these other things. Like know what you want, like to that level of detail. Know who it's for. And then do your market research and all of that stuff, because you can order samples of everything. Like once you have your wholesale account with Lane 7 or Bella Canvas, or you can do through like SNS Activewear. They have access to everybody. You can order all the samples and try it out. Don't just run like, I want a black shirt and I want this to have it. Yeah. Right. I want these words on a black shirt, or I want this design on a red hoodie, and you just pick any old hoodie, and then you're not happy with the quality, and now you're stuck with it. Like you printed everything, and it was itchy.
Cost.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's itchy, or you don't like how it fits around your shoulders, or whatever the case may be. Like you're not happy with it, or you get into a position where you don't like it, but you're just making it because other people like it. Because that's not satisfying either. Like stuff that you would never even wear, you're making it for other people. Like you're not enjoying your own fruit of your work, but everybody else is, and it's not fulfilling.
Dude, that's not the biggest lesson, but that's such a lesson, man. I used to have this conversation with some of my line cooks when I was managing. right? Because I eventually went into management. But people would come in, and whether they were spending $15 on a plate or $50 on a plate, it didn't matter to me. The fact that they were spending that money, like, but it meant something to them, right? There was an expectation. Bro, there'd be a couple of times where I'd have to pull a line cook to the side and be like, hey, you made this plate. Give me $35. They're like, why would I do that? That's not mine. I'm like, you made it. Would you pay $35 for that? Look at this plate, dude.
Yeah.
Your fingerprints are all around the rim, right? Like, it's overcooked. The mashed potatoes are dried out, dude. Would you pay $35 for that? They're like, no. I'm like, why would you do that, bro?
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Oh, I just didn't think about it, right? Like, there's pressure. I got a lot of tickets. I don't care. Now you have more tickets because you got to remake that plate.
Yeah, now you're behind.
You just doubled up your workload, bro. Alex likes tight sleeves. Alex likes tight sleeves.
Matter of fact, I'm just buff out here, dog. These sleeves was regular. You feel me? These sleeves was normal. You know what I'm saying? These arms was just growth. They grow. You know what I'm saying? Nah, it's just a lot of ice cream and stuff like that. It's just ice cream and, you know what I'm saying?
Bro,
fruit snacks. Fruit snacks and ice cream.
There you go.
But that's leadership, man. That's leadership, and that's letting people know, you know, and because like, sometimes we get lethargic. Sometimes you get in the what do they call it? What do they call it?
Monotony.
The monotony of it. You know what I'm saying? Do it over and over again. You know, things start blurring together.
Repetition.
You know, the repetition of it all. But knowing when and being a leader, man, and taking that role, taking ownership. You know what I'm saying? Taking ownership and realizing, like, hey, man, hey, do it, hey. I know your capabilities, bro. You're one of the best in here, bro. Like I know your capabilities, bro. This isn't your capabilities.
Yeah, you're not leveling.
You know what I'm
you're not
saying?
operating at your full potential. Huh? Actually, that was the thought. I didn't complete my thought. My bad. But when you said, like, hey, would you make something just for that other people like, but you don't like, right? Like, there's such a huge lesson there.
Would you eat your own cooking? Huh?
Exactly, bro. Like, dude, I made dishes, right? I'm creative in the kitchen, and I made dishes, and people ask me, like, hey, how'd you do that? I'm like, I just know what I like, man. Like how'd you season this?
Yeah.
I seasoned it to taste, right?
Right. Yeah.
Enough people are going to like what you like,
Yes.
right? To not have to cater
Yes.
to the few. You know what I mean?
Thomas can cook,
that's such a powerful statement that you made.
Thomas can cook.
Yeah.
I gotta get it in, bro.
Hey, he gets it in. Boy, if you ain't ever seen him on Instagram, man, tap in, show up. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man.
But I always
throw it
have,
down.
man. I've always enjoyed the kitchen. So since I was like 10 years old, this isn't about me. This is about K-Dot over
Hey,
here, man.
what's up?
But
But no, I agree. Like, with the not having to cater, I think that it hit me probably. I mean, I thought it, but I didn't have the words for it until like 2 or 3 months ago, where I saw. I forget what I was watching. It's like an ad or something on Instagram, but the dude was talking about, like, if you don't think that you're getting and seeing the sales that you want to see, it's because you're not niche enough. Like, whatever you're doing is so generic and it appeals so blandly to so many people that it doesn't capture. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's so vanilla that it's not enough to draw people in. Like, everybody likes generically like vanilla and chocolate ice cream, right? But when you start throwing toppings on that boy, like the people who are like, man, I love Butterfingers. Reese's Pieces is on there. Like those when people have that reaction to it, like that's where they're like, yeah, I want to buy it. Because I mean, you can get chocolate ice cream anywhere. You can get a white T-shirt anywhere with some letters on it. You can get a black T-shirt. You can get a whatever. What is it that's really like? Is it your messaging? Is it the packaging? Is it the marketing that's really drawing people in and be like, I need that one, you know? Or yeah, it's the sleeves. Like, what is it that's really pulling people into like, I need that one. I could get this anywhere, but I want that one.
Separate yourself.
Yep. Yeah. You got to stand out.
That part. Show your value, man. Stand out, but knowing what you want.
Yeah. Know what you want. Know what you like. Dang. Like if you can do that, because I mean everything that I put, like when I go down to Big Fly, they're like, so how do you come up with the designs? I'm like, I'm just making this for me and sharing it with everybody. Like this is stuff that I want. This is stuff that I thought of that I want, and I just want to share it with y'all. Like I want other people to be able to partake in this thing, and that's how it was when me and Willie were doing stuff in high school. Like we were just doing our own thing for us, and then people are like, oh, that's dope. Like, could you do one for us? Could you do one for me? Like, especially with him and his art, like he would draw like characters and stuff on people's binders because he had dope stuff on his own binder. And people are like, oh, that's fire. Like, can you do one for me? And,
man, I love artistic people, dude, because that was not me, bro. I'm older than both of you, I'm sure. But, man, I used to find like those dudes in school that would hook up the peachy folders. I don't even know if you know what a peachy folder is. I'm aging myself right now. Not. But, bro, I'd shoot them a couple bucks or whatever. Like, hey, bro, could you like hook up my peachy folder too? Because that was dope. And they just with a blue Bic pen, bro, against that yellow peachy folder, dude.
I'm gonna pull up a peachy folder.
Do you know what a peachy is?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna pull
you
it
don't
up.
know what a peachy is?
I'm gonna put it in the description for everybody. They can go.
I'm an
Maybe
80s
get sponsored by Peachy Folder.
Shout out to the 80s baby. The 80s baby know what a peachy folder is, bro.
Peachy folder.
Peachy.
Oh my gosh, man. But like you said, creating value, and realizing, and taking some internal thought, man, not just throwing something together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not just throwing something, oh, we got to do it, boom, and just throwing it together. And know what you want.
Yeah, he's not reckless with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
And I hope that you guys caught that. He's not just making stuff only for him. There's the market research where he does the one of one you said, right? I think is what you called it and stuff. And so there's a market research element too that he's doing. So he's not just recklessly just doing what it is that he wants. Like there's a thought process behind that.
Yeah, and I mean, and having a peer group of people, like we're talking clothes, right? So a peer group of people that have a sense of fashion or a sense of style or a sense of creativity that you appreciate, that you mesh with, that you vibe with, and pulling on those people. Because, like, yeah, my wife likes black and white everything, but the stuff that she picks as black and white is dope. And I got a couple of homies who are, like, they're artists or like, in different forms, like people doing music, people doing painting, people doing digital art, that, like, you're drawing these characters or you're drawing whatever, and the clothes that you're putting on these characters is dope. So I'm looking at you like you could just make that real and you'd be rich, like that kind of stuff, Like if you really put together a jacket like that, somebody would buy that for real. So pulling on this peer group, like, and saying like, hey, like, let me run this by you. What do you think about this? What would you change? And being a part of that peer group for other people as well. Well, they're sharing with you like, hey, this is my art. What do you think of this? Or this is my business plan, or this is my pitch. Like my homeboy Derek, like he's another entrepreneur. And we've been doing pop-ups like all summer together. And shout out to Vanessa for even putting us on pop-ups, like going out to like Angel City Market, going to Inglewood, going downtown, going to all these pop-ups. But we're always running and bouncing marketing ideas off of each other. Like, what do you like? Like I said, my boy Derek, he does like baking and stuff. So like he'll come over to the house, drop off cupcakes. Like, hey, here's an assortment of stuff that I'm just messing with. Let me know what you think. And I'm like, yo, these 2 or 3 are fire. Like, run these. And then we get a whole another batch of them for my family. So like my family is in his peer group. Like, hey, what do we all think of this experimental cupcakes that he's putting together? And that's his focus group. Like, based on what our feedback is to what he's doing, he's going out to the pop-ups, and these things are being a hit because of the market research he did with us.
Right.
And I think that if you have a group like that with whatever you're doing, where you can bounce like off of people who will tell you like, no, you could do a little less of this, or that's kind of too bold, or whatever the case may be, whatever the feedback that's relevant to what you're doing. If you have people who be honest with you and tell you the good things and the bad things, and you can be humble enough to receive that feedback, because a lot of people say that they want feedback, right, and then get their feelings hurt and stop talking to you.
Now they want confirmation.
Yeah, you want a confirmation bias. You want somebody to pat you on the back and just say, yeah, you're good. But if you have a group of people who will give you good and bad feedback, or negative and positive, because it's not really bad, the bad feedback allows you to improve. If you can do all of that, you can you're setting yourself up for doing great things. because you have a bunch of people who will keep you from just recklessly releasing stuff and wasting money and putting out stuff that's trash or stuff that people don't like or maybe only you like. Because like me, like I like black licorice. I like Good and Plenty. I know a lot of people don't like it.
Absolutely few people like black licorice.
Right.
Dog.
But I'm not going to sit here and say, hey,
Yeah,
Derek,
bro, what's
because
wrong with you, Kendrick? Man, we were good up until that.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to tell Derek, like, hey, man, you should make black licorice cupcakes, bro. Knowing good and well that the market for black licorice, period, is super low. I need you to run a full pop-up's worth 48 cupcakes, black licorice, bro. That's a great idea. Yeah. Based on my own bias. Like,
Yeah.
you'd be messed up. You'd be out here with all these cupcakes that nobody wants.
Mad at you, bro.
I would be getting free
I'm mad
cupcakes.
right now.
You know, I would just be getting the free cupcakes that didn't sell, you know?
Are there licorice cupcakes out there?
I'm sure, bro. There has to be, or at least that anise flavor, because that's what that black licorice is. It's anise.
Oh,
So
interesting, man.
same flavor in like Jägermeister for all you.
Yeah, Jaeger
drinkers.
bombs, right?
Yeah.
But you said, man, having that peer group, man, and having people around that'll give you that feedback that you trust and respect, and
The willingness to accept it.
willingness to accept it, accepting the feedback too, and like you said, you have your mission and your goal, and people that you trust this feedback from. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not people that you're getting feedback from that maybe not have done that. Then so it may depend your field. Also, you know what I'm saying? Because say you're like, hey man, I'm about to get into this type of field. I'm about to open up this. Say I'm about to open up a store. But you're asking your little cousin that's like 18 years old, that's never owned anything, never done anything. Like, hey, what do you think about me opening up a store? Nah.
Yeah.
Or you think this would be successful? You know what I'm saying? Like, probably, maybe not that person.
Right.
But finding people, like I said, maybe in different spheres of success or different spheres of those realms of influence, and be like, hey, here's what we're doing. Here's our plan. Here's our focus. And here's the type of customers we're looking for. Having that group, man. So that's huge, bro. Having a group of people, having that mastermind, if you will, to give you that real.
Yeah, I think that's it's just a quality thing. Like, you're able to test a small group before you do anything else. and for people in the apparel space, like, you don't even have to make nothing. You can just Photoshop it all. Like, you can go online, get a hoodie, like a random hoodie, blank hoodie picture, slap whatever you want to on it, and see how you think it looks digitally. Look on your iPad and say, oh, well, drag and drop it and see how you like it. And I mean, it's not super expensive. It's cheaper to do like a one of one and only you like it than to do like 50, 60, 100 and nobody like it.
Yeah.
Ouch.
And then you wasted all that money
We had
to
somebody
find
else
out
on the podcast talked about that, remember?
You waste a lot of money finding out, like, hey, nobody's filming it, or you're late. Like, that was cool, and it's not no more. Like that,
No
like,
more parachute
it's not
pants,
like we're not talking about we're not putting hoodies out in like May, June. We're past that. That's not the time to drop a new hoodie. Maybe put your old ones on sale, but it's not the time to drop a new one.
I don't know, man. Some of these kids, I've been seeing them drive around 90 degrees with their window down and a hoodie on.
Yeah.
Wild. Dude,
I've seen that, yo. Yeah, wild.
I'm like, what is going on, bro?
And they're burning up, man.
It's 103 degrees. No, and then it's crazier, dude. You ask them like, man, you're not hot? Nah, I'm comfortable. Shut up, bro. How long did it take for you to convince yourself of that? Get out of here.
Sweating out your eyeballs. Your elbows sweating, dog. How your elbows sweating, man? Yeah,
man, that's crazy.
What's before we finish up here? What's the next phase, man? What's the next goals that you have, man, with the brand?
Next goal is to keep scaling, man. Keep growing. We just this week actually reached 400 followers on Instagram.
Nice.
So I want to double it by next year, if not sooner. But I want to continue just putting out quality content that people resonate with, that encourages, because I mean that's the purpose of our brand, is just to encourage people, to edify and build them up.
Beautiful.
With what you're wearing, like, let it be fashionable, let it be dope, but also have that message. So like the feedback from our More Hope, Less Hype hoodies has been dope, man. Like we're getting like so much positive feedback on that, and that's what I like to see, because like that affirms like, yo, like my colorway was spot on, the message is spot on, and then seeing people posting like, yo, this is super comfortable, like all of that. Like I want to continue to have that effect on people and let that message go out. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. Be more hopeful instead of hyping people up, gassing people up on stuff that's temporary. Like if you're gonna have something influence you, let it be something that's hope. Let it be a message of hope instead of just like, oh, did you see this thing, and get yourself riled up or get yourself gassed up on something that it's not encouraging people, not building people up.
Inspiration.
Yeah,
inspiration, man.
Well, optimism too, right? Like we need more optimism in the world, because everywhere you look, it's all negative, man, and it's a easy hole to go down quickly.
Yeah,
and you put yourself in a funk. So I love that message.
Absolutely,
I love it.
More hope, less hype, baby.
Yeah.
I love it,
bro. When I seen that hoodie, I was like, "Ooh, that's fire!"
Yeah, man, I'm excited about the ride. I'm putting this on, man.
How can we help?
Yeah.
I mean, this is it, bro. I appreciate the opportunity, the platform. So hopefully, people, you could check us out on Instagram or on Facebook. All of it is at Future and Hope Apparel. Website is futureandhopeapparel.com. Check us out there. And if you like what you see, cop something. If you like what you see and it's not for you, but it's for somebody else, share it with them, and hopefully they scoop something. But no, I appreciate the opportunity, man. And I think what you guys are doing here and giving all the startup entrepreneurs a platform to share their struggles, their story, and people learning from that, I think is great, because I think if you are listening to this podcast, you are the type of person who is okay to learn from other people's mistakes and experiences. Like, you don't have to fail yourself to believe it. You know what I'm saying? I know people that are like that. They're like, well, I'll believe it's difficult, or I'll believe it's hard, or I'll believe that's not the way when I fail at it myself. I think that if you're listening to this podcast, you're the kind of person who has seen people's struggles, seen people's experiences and failures, and you're willing to learn from just listening to it. So keep listening to the podcast, Sean. I think that's the best thing you keep doing right now.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, that's our goal.
Appreciate it. Man. Tap in, plug in, and there will be there will be a link in the description, man, where you can go and purchase and buy. I'm a support, you know what I mean, and support the businesses, you know, and support my man's business, man, and support Kendrick's business and him and his wife, you know, support their journey, you know, and
thank you.
And you know, so it is in the description, so check it right now, click on it and support and buy, man. Keep their businesses growing, man, and share it. You know, was there any closing remarks, Thomas Bing? Anything to close out with, brother?
Nah, bro, I loved it. I ditto what you said. Like, comment, share, support. Right, support small businesses, especially one with a great mission and vision of just hope and positivity. Like, how could you not want to support something like that, man?
Yeah,
and it's a family business. I think he mentioned it on the podcast, but they do everything from their home. Like, legitimately everything is being done at a grassroots level. And so I know we'll be supported, man. I'll probably be some of my family members might already get an early shot at Christmas gifts and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But man, I love it. I appreciate you coming out, brother.
Thank you both for having me.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it. Well, everybody know, well, if you don't know now, you will. You can definitely go in and support the No Pressure No Diamonds podcast, No Pressure No Diamonds. You know, please like, comment, share. We have a support link in the description, man, for those that want to support the podcast, man, and we're growing. But we want to thank you for your time, man. I appreciate it. But without no further ado, no pressure,
no diamonds.
Let's get it.